Hello, hello, welcome. I am so honored to be here with you today as we focus our attention on the 12 touchstones to vitality. So I'm not sure if you're on my email list. If you're not, you might want to be. So you can do that anytime by just dropping your email in the comments, and I'll peel that out of there before we're finished and make sure that it's not public. Or you can just head on over to brittbsteele.com, and anywhere that you sign up, you're going to begin to get email notifications from me where I share inspiration and intentions and ways in which that you can rise into your next best and highest evolution. Now, why do I say all of that right out of the gate? I say it because you probably received an email, those of you who are on my email list, and the title was Squirrel, Squirrel. And why was it squirrel, squirrel? It was squirrel, squirrel, because we are a culture of massive distractions. We are distractible every time we turn around. We hear something, we start reading, we get pulled away by this, that, and the other thing. And so today I'm inviting you to come right on back, to come right to your heart, to drop in and to show up to the best of your ability while we focus our attention on what I have come to call the 12 touchstones. These are the 12 touchstones that allow for you to access your highest expression in your life so that you can show up fully and completely, even when it feels like the world is on fire, even when it feels like you don't know what's up, down, or inside out, but we just stay to the course, we stay focused, we stay true to what matters to us, and we just keep going. The beauty of that is when the storm passes, because the storm always passes, whether that storm is a divorce or an illness or a pandemic or financial struggle or relationship challenges or challenges with our children. When the storm passes, what we find is that if we have been paying attention, if we have been turning ourselves back to these 12 touchstones, I promise that what you will experience is a greater level of vitality. You'll have more residual energy, and you will be able to rise into your next best and highest evolution and to share that best self, with others, and the world. So we are here today to focus on those 12 touchstones of vitality, and I'm going to personalize it for each of you so that you can take a step back and look at your lives and say, okay, here's what I can do right now today to make a difference in my own life, to turn up and amplify, if you will, the impact that I can make because I'm taking good care of myself. I'm clear on who I am and on what I control, what I can control, and I'm putting my attention into those places and spaces. So we are live. So I welcome you to say hello. Drop a 1 in the comments if you would, please. If you can see and hear me, just drop a 1. And then also I'd love to know who's here with me. Just drop your name. If this is a new and a first time with me, then you might want to give StreamYard your permission so that they can show me who you are. Otherwise, it will largely just say user or Facebook user, or you can stay anonymous and we can keep it on the sly like that as well. That's totally up to you, however you want to do that. But as you're showing up, I welcome to know who's here with me. I'd love to know who you are. I'd love to know why you're here. I'd love to know what it is that has inspired you to take this hour out of your day to show up for yourself in the presence of me and others. All right. Hi, honey. It's Michelle. Hi, sweet Michelle from Alabama. It's good to see your face here. That always makes me so happy. Michelle and I met last year on a retreat in Troncones, and she is just this earth mama, ocean lover, beautiful, beautiful human being from Alabama. Right? There we are. So who else is here with us? Tell us who's here. Tell us what your name is. Tell us where you're coming from. 1, you can see me. That's good. So it's slowly dropping in. There's a little bit of a delay. All right. So as you're all showing up, I'll keep circling back to the comments. You can write comments. I encourage you to write comments and to show up. I encourage you to ask questions at any given time. And we're going to just jump right into this content so that you get the most out of our time together. Now, I want to make sure that if you're finding me just by happenstance on YouTube, or if you're finding me from by happenstance on Facebook, I want to make sure that I show you how you can get the download of the 12 touchstones. And you can download those now if you'd like, or you can handwrite these 12 touchstones as we go. It's up to you. Hi, sweet Anne from Portland. Good to see you. Okay, so what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to do a screen share so you can see what I'm looking at. There we go. So now you see my screen. You see the back end of my world here. And I'm going to go ahead and drop in over here and show you that if we go over to members, see what I just wrote in at the top here, this members.britbsteel.com. If you go in there, this is what's called a membership portal. This is all brand new to me this year. I'm super excited about it. My dear friend, tech guru and back end everything, Courtney, has helped me put all this together. This is way beyond me. But I want to offer that there's going to be a whole series of different free live classes and workshops that are going to be showing up in here. What we've got right now is this beauty of the 12 touchstones of vitality. So if you click on this, there's going to be an option over here perhaps for you to sign up for it. And all you have to do is put in your email. If you're like, wait, I'm not registered for this, just drop your email. Your email is your username and your password. It's yours. And then you'll be able to come back to this anytime that you want to. And then we view the module, which is this live workshop. When you want to come back later, you go to watch the class here. I could click on that and then we'd be double screening right now. Or I could click on this and you'd see us seeing me. But I want to make sure that you know right here are the 12 touchstones, this piece right here. So this is what I have printed already. Now you don't have to print these right now. You can take scraps of paper and write these down. You can just list them out on a piece of paper if you'd like. But these are the 12 touchstones that we're going to be moving through today. So this is where you get this, beloveds. This is where you get it. Now, if you are already a member, meaning you already have done Sunday morning yoga church with me, or you've done Radical Self-Care Roadmap, or you've already registered for Pilgrim, then this is going to be really easy for you to access. And you're going to already know this little trick, which is this over here, which you can just go to my website anytime you're like, now, how do I get to that workshop I did with Britt? You come right here to britbsteel.com. You come over here to these 3 gold bars where it says more. I click on that and I go to the student login, this big burgundy bar at the bottom, student login. Then I'm going to go ahead and tap on that and we're right in that membership portal again. I can click on the 12 touchstones of vitality. I can view the module and I'm right in here again. So you know, all right. So the beauty of this as well is you can come back to this workshop the same way right here. You don't have to watch it on Facebook. You don't have to watch it on YouTube. You can come right into this membership portal and wherever you watched it originally is going to live right here, or you're watching it from this place. So that's some of the back end stuff so you know what's going on. So I just want to make sure that you knew how to get to this and that was available to you. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and stop with my screen share for right now and come right on back. So what I want to be clear about is the 12 touchstones that we're going to be focusing on. These are my heart and soul. These are the things that I go back to again and again and again in my life when I'm looking at how it is that I up-level my life, how it is that I increase my energy. Anytime that I feel like my energy battery is starting to go down, I'm going to come right back to these 12 touchstones. So I'm giving you what I live by. That's what I'm giving you today. And those are the 12 touchstones that are in my book, Pilgrim. You can get this on Amazon. I'll drop that link in the comments at the end of the class. If you're interested in a hard copy of the book, you can get it there. But just know that the 12 touchstones that we're going to be focusing on are the basis of this book and are the basis of the 108-day program. So let's jump right in, shall we? Okay, so I've taken my 12 touchstones that I've showed you already on the back end, and I've cut them out, right? I've cut them out into 12 little pieces of paper. And this is something, so this is my most sophisticated year, I'll say. Last year, I always hand wrote these. You can see on my Instagram post, I hand wrote these. This year, I just cut and pasted, or just printed and cut them out like little flashcards. But we're going to speak to each of them one at a time. But before we do, I want to talk to you about what is a touchstone. Like, what is a touchstone anyway? A touchstone is a really amazing thing that was essentially a stone that way back in the day, when somebody wanted to know if a ring, for example, if this was real silver, right? If this was real silver, or if this was real gold, they would go to someone who had a touchstone, right? And they would take this metal, this precious metal, or not, right? Precious metal, and they would rub it against the stone. They would rub it against the stone. By rubbing it against the stone, what would happen? The metal would either reveal that there was another metal underneath this pretty shiny silver thing or this pretty shiny gold thing, or it would reveal that, yes, it is real gold, right? It is, the metal is pure in and through, right? And that is what a touchstone is historically. And the reason I choose that word is because these are practices and techniques and ways of being in the world that we rub up against, right? I'm going to let my Britness rub up against these practices, right, to reveal my brilliance. Because through the lens of yoga, which all of these touchstones are based upon, they actually come out of the Upanishads, and the Upanishads are essentially the aspect of the ancient yogic texts that say everything exists in wholeness. Everything comes from wholeness and everything returns to wholeness. And so when we turn our attention to that wholeness as the core, to that purity as the core, and if I can remember that I am that purity, and that by leaning into that touchstone, by rubbing myself up against that touchstone, that my brilliance, my purity will be revealed, it's pure gold from there, right? It's pure gold from there. So that is what a touchstone is. And we have 12 of them that we turn our attention to today. Number 1 is move my body. Move my body. Some of us might look at this and say, oh, that's exercise. Well, maybe. But I'm much more interested in you simply, purely, and entirely moving your body. So as we go through each of these, I'm just going to unfold them really simply, one at a time. You can drop your questions. Laura said, I love my pilgrim book. I have 2, one to keep at home, one comes with me. That's so sweet. So sweet that you carry it with you. I use mine. I actually scribble in mine all the time as well. This is not the one that I use regularly, but I have one that's my personal copy. And so what we're going to do with these 12 touchstones is I'm just going to unfold them one at a time. And you can either write them on little pieces of paper, or you can make a list of them. Or if you already printed these and cut these out, you can pull them out and lay them out as we go. So move my body, movement. Your body is a harbor for energy. And when the body is not moving, energy is not moving. So I am way more interested in you moving your body than you exercising, for example. I am much more interested in you having the potential and the ability to move energy in and through your body. Because when the physical body is moving, so too are your emotions, and so too is your mental energy. And that is what we need in and through. That is the power of moving our body. So maybe you decide that you are going to practice yoga. Maybe you're going to do 10 minutes of yoga. Maybe you're going to do yoga like a cat or like a 12-year-old. Maybe you're going to focus your attention on how it is that you might move your body like an animal or play with your grandchildren. Maybe you're going to go outside and roll around in the fall leaves. Maybe you're going to run up the hill and then walk down, and run up the hill and then walk down. Maybe you're going to roll down the hill, right? What's wrong with that? Who does that anymore? I hope you do, right? All of these little pieces. Maybe you're going to turn music on and dance. Maybe you're going to go for a run. But see how all of these things have less to do with taking time out to exercise and have more to do with how it is that you actually are moving your body, getting your body moving, flexing, extending, opening, closing, increasing heart rate, breaking a sweat, breathing, etc., etc. That's what we're going for. All right. So that's number one, touchstone number one, move my body. So you can take that now and you can just set it aside. You might want to lay these all out for you so that you've got them all laid out. Number two is purify this vessel. Purify this vessel. I'll get this right. I'm kind of ranking it around here inside and out. Purify this vessel. That's number two. So there's a tiny little number two right here. So the order of these is actually intentional with the way I'm presenting them, but you may find, once we determine which are your low-hanging fruit, you may find that some of them that are more subtle, which we'll talk about later, the last 6 are more subtle, that those are the ones that you want to focus your attention on. But for right now, when we focus on purify this vessel, when I speak about this, I'm talking about what you put in your body-mind complex and what you put on your body-mind complex. So to purify this vessel, I want to make sure that I'm getting fresh, pure water. I want to make sure that I'm eating real food, whole food, not food that's been highly processed, not food that's been sitting around a really long time, not food that's been in my cabinets for 3 years. No, no, no. I want to eat whole, real food. I want to put lotions and potions on my body, hair products, oils, etc., that I could eat without getting sick or dying, right? Because your skin is your largest organ. And then I also want to be putting into my ears music that elevates me. Sometimes I'll hear a piece of music, like true story. Sometimes I'll hear a piece of music that'll take me back a decade or 2 decades. And I really want to listen to the piece of music. But I realize that if I begin to listen to that particular piece of music, it's actually going to bring my energy down. Like I go, oh, because it reminds me of a time that was a really difficult time, but it's not a type of energy that's really helping me elevate, right? Or sometimes, I mean, love songs, country love songs are all about that, right? So how is it that we focus our attention on bringing into our ears, into our eyes, into our nose, through our skin, on our tongue, these things that are real and alive and energizing and good for us, inspiring, grounding, good for us. They help us see our brilliance. They help us see that we're good and whole, holy enough as is, as we are. So when I speak about purifying this vessel, I'm recognizing that this is my vehicle, my fancy ride in this life. And this is the only home I'm ever going to have. So I want to take really good care of it. Right? And then knowing that if sometimes I want to have that ice cream or I want to reach for something, I'm going to reach for something so whole and yummy and good for me. And it's not going to be something that's prepackaged or out of a freezer at a gas station. No, no, no. I'm going to go for the full fat, best organic ice cream I can find that's going to nourish my body as well, because it is also made of products that are as whole and real as possible. All right. So that's purify my vessel. That's touchstone number 2. Okay. So we're just going to keep on moving. Number 3. Oh, I love this one. This is why I'm here with you. This is, let me see if I can get it in there. I need to go over, how do I do this? Look at me. I'm such a dingbat. There's that. Let's look over here. Join conscious community, because it's all about the community. Join conscious community. What does this mean? It means there is community and there's a conscious community already out there that's waiting for you. Your job is to join it. What's a conscious community? A conscious community is essentially the people who see you and love you as you are and do not validate you for getting stuck and staying stuck. That's a big thing. Sometimes it's really easy to surround ourselves who are going to surround ourselves with friends and people who are going to commiserate with us, right? They're going to go, yeah, that was so not cool that happened to you, la, 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 la. And I think that's great. That's fine and all, but it's got to be like, that's not okay. Now how are you going to change your story? Right? Conscious community is about those individuals who see you and love you, and they are there reflecting your highest self. They also are the individuals who help you rise into your next best and highest expression. You hear me say that again and again. Rising into your next best and highest evolution. What is it going to take, right? If the story that you're living in is not working for you, when is this story going to end, right? And if not now, when? Because you have an option and any given moment to start again, to start again, to start again. And when we are surrounded by people who reflect our brilliance, who see our resilience and aren't there to commiserate with us or put their attention on validating our weaknesses. Oh yeah, oh, that must be so hard. I say, nah, come on. It's like, oh, that really sucked. Now what are we going to do about it? Like, I want to surround myself with those women and those people who are going to make me just a little bit uncomfortable because they see that I can do something that maybe I can't even see that I can do. That's what I'm looking for. Conscious community. You just got to join it. The consciousness is already there. It's out there. And the community is already there. The other piece to that is, how do you bring the consciousness to the community at the dinner table, in your partnership? How do you not feed the things? Because when we react to somebody being stupid, let's just say, like, you have a perception that somebody's doing something that's like, well, that's just ridiculous that they're watching all that television, la, 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 la. When you snagger on that like that, what ends up happening is you end up feeding it energy. So we don't want to feed it energy at all. Joining conscious community means you bring consciousness to the community. You bring consciousness to the relationships that are meaningful to you. That's what we're doing in all ways, right? So join conscious community. So I'm just unfolding these. Any questions thus far? Is there anything? I'm just going to adjust my seat. I'm up on this high chair. Any questions or any clarifications on these as we're going in, Anything at all? Anything at all? Now, please know that you can send your friends to the links that I shared. It's also in the description of this. So you're going to be able to send your friends here, send them to the brittbsteele.com page, send them to the member login. They'll go there. It'll be an available offering. They can enter in that way too, anytime. So if you find value in this particular workshop, or you want to introduce people to me or to the work of the 12 touchstones, please feel free to send them there. It's not going to go away. It's going to stay there, stay living right there in our membership portal. All right. So no questions so far or clarifications. So we've got, just to review, 25% there. Move my body, touchstone number 1. More about movement than exercise. Moving physical energy moves mental and emotional energy. Purify this vessel. This is about putting things in and on my body through my 5 senses, through my whole being, that are real and whole, because my body begins to receive signals of desiring to be real and whole when I'm doing more of that. When I'm doing Twinkies and Vaseline and fake perfumes, that stuff's not taking me where I want to go, right? That's going to take me into the cloud of having to work through all of those toxins and artificial presentations of nature herself. Go straight to nature, beloved. Purify this vessel. And then thirdly, join conscious community. The conscious community is out there just waiting for you. Your job is to join it, and you bring the consciousness to it if there's a community that you're already a part of that you're not going to abandon, of course, and that you want to be more conscious. You bring that loving consciousness to the community. Okay, number 4, find sacred space. Another good one. The action word is find. So that, again, like join conscious community, this is here to say your job is to recognize that there is sacred space around you all the time. You find it. You keep turning yourself to the things that are real and whole. If you step outside of your home, if you step outside of your garage, if you step outside of your closet, right? If you step outside of your kitchen, if you step outside of your bathroom, and then you re-enter any of these spaces, choose any one of them, and you just take a moment, take a deep breath, you enter that space, and you look for what feels most aligned with who you are and or how you want to express in this life. It's not about becoming. No, that's becoming through the lens of yoga is actually a disease, because it's like a carrot out at the end of a stick. If you're always becoming, you never recognize that you already are. So through the yogic lens, you already are. You're everything that you want to be. You got it all going on. There's no question. There's no doubt about it. Right? So that's how we enter into it. To find sacred space is to enter into any aspect of our home, our lives. If every time you pull in the driveway, you press the button, your garage door opens and you're like, oh, it's such a mess, right? It's such a mess. I don't know. Ugh, just gives you a downer feeling. That's what you're gonna find the sacred space in there. You're gonna turn your attention to a project that has more to do with your garage and less to do with social media, right? Or whatever it may be. Less Netflix, more garage reorganization, whatever it may be. Maybe it's your cabinets, your bathroom cabinets. Maybe it's your kitchen cabinets. Maybe it's just your car in general. Maybe it's your office space, right? And how do you make it sacred? How do you bring something live, fresh flowers? How do you have water on your desk every single day? These are the sorts of things when you look at sacred space, your space around you, right? Close in and then make it bigger, bigger, bigger. So my little office space right here, my little rental house as a whole, my little community in my car outside the door. Like, how am I making it sacred? But I start here, right? I start here, centering. So find sacred space. That's touchstone number 4. Touchstone number 5, align with nature. Five aspects of nature: earth, water, fire, air, and ether. Earth, water, fire, air, and ether. We call these the Pancha Mahabhutas in yoga, the 5 great elements. They make up everything in the entire universe. You, me, the Grand Canyon, the cenotes that are here in the Yucatan, right? The ocean on the west coast of Mexico, the volcanoes in Hawaii, right? The mountains in Canada, and the west coast and east coast of the United States. The 5 elements make up everything, including these bodies. So when I align with nature, I look at how I can bring more earth into my life if I'm feeling ungrounded. I look how I can bring more water into my life if I'm feeling like I'm not going with the flow very well. I look at how I can balance fire. Either I'm totally flat and totally like nothing lights my fire, or I'm on fire and I'm in attack mode and I'm volatile. How do I calm that fire, right? Air. So here's the thing. Fire and air, we almost always have to calm. But you look in your own life, right? Yeah, Dawn said the pandemic really helped me connect with the nature for the first time on a consistent basis. Yeah, there's blessings that were built into the pandemic. I see more and more of them. I see more and more of those beautiful blessings that were built into the pandemic. And yes, being with oneself and being with nature was absolutely one that I find super, super valuable by all means. So aligning with nature is looking at earth, water, fire, air, and ether. When earth is in balance, it's grounded, steady, stable. When it's out of balance, right? It's rigid, it's dry. When water is out of balance, it's boundaryless. When it's in balance, it's fluid. It goes with the flow. It shape shifts. When fire is in balance, it's warm. It's attractive. It's illuminating. It's upward rising. When it's out of balance, it's incinerating. It's unpredictable. It burns ourselves, others, and the world. When air is in balance, right? It's inspired and inspiring. It's visionary, right? It's mobile. When it's out of balance, it's ungrounded, right? When ether, actually, the beauty of ether, we're really never out of balance in ether. Ether is what holds all of the other elements. It's what holds us. It's your true nature. It's that when you close your eyes and you slip into the deepest of deep sleeps and you wake up in the morning, we see it in little kids all the time. They come down and it's just like, you can just tell they had the best night's sleep, right? They just dripped into the ether world. So how do we go there? We go there through meditation, right? We go there first by aligning with nature, and then right, going for a hike and just sitting quietly and letting our mind empty. Right, so that's align with nature. That's touchstone number 5. Any questions? Let me know. Don said, I use these energies of the elements with my students when they would have a rough time. Absolutely. Laura says, Don Rowe, I totally agree. I now spend more time outside than inside. I love it. Yeah, it's really easy to fall into the habit of spending a lot of time indoors. And we want to be outside, right? Our bodies want to connect with nature. Touchstone number 6, right? So go ahead right here. Take a breath in. Inhale in and up to the crown. Exhale down and out the body. Inhale in and up to the crown. Exhale down and out the body. One more time. Inhale all the way in and up. Exhale down and out the body. There it is. Touchstone number 6, be breathed. So why is this be breathed and not breathe? Because there is a force that is breathing you. You think you're breathing. You think you're in control of your breathing. You're only in control of your breathing until you're not, right? And then when you're not, the key is as things start to fall away, or if you stop breathing and you pass out, your body, unless it's game over, your body's going to start breathing again. If you hold your breath until you pass out, your body is going to recover that breath. So you are being breathed. We live in the earth, not on the earth, right? We are part of an ecosystem where the clouds are whipping by and we are moving with the clouds. We are in the atmosphere. So when we recognize that we are being breathed, we also recognize that I am the breath, I am the breather, I am the one being breathed. That is if to say, the things that I can control in my life, I control. The things that I can't control in my life, I let go of. And I keep cultivating the wisdom to know the difference. Remember this one, right? And by cultivating the difference to know the difference, I keep turning my attention to the ways in which that I can make an impact. And I feel my feelings and I let them move out, and I use my breath to move things in and out and through. I align with nature. That helps me do it. I move my body. That helps me do it. I purify my vessel. That helps me do it. I keep sitting and connecting in my conscious community and in my sacred spaces. That helps me do it. And the breath oxygenates us. It brings spirit into us. It helps us recognize that we are spiritual beings having a human experience, not just human beings having a spiritual experience. So that's number 6. Halfway through, number 7. Now we get more subtle. These become more subtle. Number 7 is rest and reflect. So where is it in your life that you're taking time for yourself just to be quiet, to be still? Perhaps it's a full moon that you do it. Perhaps it's a new moon. Perhaps it's every morning. Perhaps it's every evening. But rest and reflection is a super important part of the body's ability to remain resilient, to have a strong immune system, to be able to receive in challenging conversations and in conflict. We want to prepare ourselves to live well and to be in deep connection with all that is as it is through rest and reflection again and again and again. Are you taking time to rest and reflect? That's number 7. Number 8, nourish my buddhi. This is a fun one. It's a play on words. Buddhi is your highest self, right? It's your wisdom self. It's the part of you that when you close your eyes and say, do this with me. So just imagine your refrigerator stocked full of all the things that you know would very much nourish you. Would nourish you physically, mentally, emotionally. Would do good by you, would help you sleep, and all those things that don't help you sleep, all those things that keep you up late at night or negatively affect your nervous system or dumb you down or numb you out. You just pull all those things out of your refrigerator. All right, open your eyes, shake that off. Close your eyes again. And then just imagine that you wake up tomorrow morning. And there's something that you can do when you first wake up that's going to make a really big difference for you. You're going to start your day off in a way that is super intentional, Perhaps you get up and sit for a brief meditation, make your tea, say thank you, write a few things in your journal, do a short yoga practice, go for a walk outside, tell someone you love them, tell someone else you love them. Think about someone who's hurt you or wronged you, or someone that you're struggling with, and just wish them blessings and good thoughts. All right, let all that go. Shake that off, open your eyes. What just happened? You invoked your Buddhi. You invoked your wise self, because she knows, right? There's no question. She knows what you should eat. She knows what you should do. She knows all those things. And sometimes we fall away from those things and we're not paying attention to them, but they are by all means there for us. When we rest and reflect, when we align with nature, when we're purifying the vessel, when we're seeing our highest self reflected in our conscious community, when we're moving our body and moving our physical energy, our mental energy, our emotional energy, because there is no better antidepressant than exercise, period. It's better than antidepressants are, because it doesn't have any of the negative side effects, all of it. When we're breathing deeply and completely and taking time to breathe and using the exhale to let go and the inhale to feel ourselves inspired, right? You see what's happening? All of those things help you tap into a clear expression of your Buddhi. And how do you take care of her? You do all these things. How do you recognize that she's there? You remember that she's there, and you keep calling upon her. You close your eyes and say, okay, what would she do? What would my wise self do? Buddhi, the wise one within. She's the one who's always been wise, is wise now, always will be wise, no matter what you do, no matter what silly things you do, she's going to be the wise one, right? Dawn, gratitude, lemon water, meditation, yes. Ho'oponopono. Ho'oponopono, I never say that right, pardon me. Walk, coffee, just really need to embrace the consistency, absolutely. The regulation, right? How do I nourish my Buddhi? You know what that looks like. That's number 8. Number 9, alter my consciousness. So this again is a play on words, because generally we alter our consciousness with A-L-T-E-R, but I'm here to say I'm going to choose altar my consciousness, because I have a little corner where I always sit, right? I have a little place where I always turn my attention. It happens to be right over there where there's flowers and a sheepskin, fresh flowers all the time, a candle. I see a picture of my partner and I. There's some sage. There's some sweet grass. There's black onyx for protection. There's a crystal back from where I lived before. There's my mother's rosary. There's my mala beads. Like, there's all these things. There's a stone from the river Ganga. That's where I go every single morning. That's where I nourish my body, or nourish my Buddhi. That's where I find sacred space. So where can you alter your consciousness? Is there a place or a space that you can turn your attention to? This can also be a closet. It can be a drawer, right? It can be a shelf in a kitchen, right? Your altar can be wherever it is that you feel most deeply connected to yourself in a way that serves you, moves you, shifts you, changes you, and provides for you to say, it's all right. I got this. I got this. So that's number 9, alter my consciousness. Number 10, symphonize my holy heart. This is about music, beloved. This is about chanting. This is about recognizing that every single time that you hear sound coming into you, right, before your brain has any idea whether it likes it or not, there's going to be something inside of you that's responding to that. So when you chant, when you sigh, when you sing, when you play music that's inspiring and uplifting, where the soul of the musician was totally on, right? I am resilient. I trust the movement. I embrace the chaos, right? Uplift the negative. I show up at the table again and again and again. I'd close my mouth and learn to listen. And I'm no singer, but the music, vibration, it moves us, it shifts us, it changes us. Mantra, Om Gam Ganapataye Namaha, Om Gam Ganapataye Namaha, Om Gam Ganapataye Namaha. A chant like that, it begins to shift the way that our brain is being wired. Again, neurons that fire together, wire together. So by symphonizing my holy heart, by recognizing that sound has vibration and aligning myself with sounds that are good for me, that are nourishing me, that are healing me, that's what this is all about. All right, so that's symphonize my holy heart. Now, number 11. Now this might maybe, I always love this one because it just makes me remember that even though Pilgrim is about living your yoga every single day, right? Pilgrim is about living your yoga every single day. We don't even talk about yoga asana really until this one. So awaken through asana. What does that mean? Awaken through asana. It means I want to feel where things are stuck in my body. I want to use the asana, the yoga poses, the positions that I go through, the seats in which I sit myself, positions where I hang out when I'm on the yoga mat. I want to use those positions, not to get a great yoga ass or to, make sure that I'm able to master a headstand or a handstand or do a drop back. It's not about any of that. I'm looking for the energy. I'm looking for where are things stuck and what information does that tell me about me? I'm looking at, is it in my chest? Is it, for me, it's so often here, which is so ironic, I think, because I talk a lot, right? I'm a teacher and a speaker, and a lot of the energy is moving right here. So the question is, what's going on, right? Where, if I awaken through asana, I'm listening to the tension that's here. I'm constantly wanting to receive messages from my body and take those messages to help me heal, to help me rise, to help me be more conscious again and again and again. So your yoga practice then informs you, and everything you do on the yoga mat somehow enhances what's going on in your life. Somehow it's helping you. Somehow it's supporting you. If it's not, start asking questions. Why am I doing this? Start asking questions. How am I gonna, why am I doing that pose? Right? We want to see that it's helping us physically, mentally, emotionally. Right? We also want to look out in our lives, and when we feel that tension, like I just did here, brought my arms behind my back, there's a yoga pose that I can go to. There's a practice. One of my favorites is called Ashwini Mukha Pranayam. It's a horse face breathing practice. It goes like this. Do this with me. Exhale, inhale. 2 more. 1 more time. That's the horse face breathing practice. A horse does it to release tension and stress. So do I. Right? There's something that I can call upon from my yoga mat that will help me address something that's going on in my life. That's what it means to awaken through asana. And then finally, number 12, like I said at the very beginning, to circle us back around, essentially and ultimately, it looks like this. We are spiritual beings having a human experience. And therefore, when I say worship my way home, what I'm talking about is recognizing that divinity lives in all things. Whatever your spiritual tradition is, the way in which that you walk through the world, the way in which that you touch into God, or as my teacher sometimes calls God, the big zucchini in the sky, sort of very playfully, but as if to say, we don't know the name of that thing, whatever that is, that energy. We don't know anything. It's not an angry widower in the sky. It's none of that. It's essentially some energy that we can keep tapping into, and we can keep trusting, giving back to the one who's given us everything. Every boon in our lives, every challenge in our lives has come in and through divinity. How do I give it back to the ultimate giver? How do I love and serve in everything that I do? How do I give of my heart, my hands, my mind, my gifts that I've been given freely to help and support the evolution of another, and to show each person that they are worthy, that they are whole, that they are holy, just as is. So worship my way home is to circle that back and say, I want to see the divinity in my life. I want to bring more divinity into my life. That's what that looks like. It's not religious. There's nothing religious here. I was talking to my dear friend Candace, and she said, I'm not drinking any Kool-Aid. We were laughing about it. And I'm like, your first year doing Pilgrim. She's like, I was like, I'm not drinking any Kool-Aid. And there's no Kool-Aid, right? There's no Kool-Aid in the yogic tradition. It's not religious. It's not Hindu. And actually, what's so beautiful about speaking about Hinduism is a modern day perspective on the people who lived in the Indus Valley, which is so cool. because there was no Hinduism. We put that label on it. Like, what are we doing? We're doing all these breaking outs and breaking ups in order to make all these religions that are causing all these wars. And I'm just here to say, no, 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 no. Worship my way home is like, come back to the divinity, to the oneness that lives in all things. Follow what relaxes your heart. Follow what brings you closer to the one that you worship. We call that Ishvara in yoga, and it literally translates into the one that you worship. If you're like, hey, I don't have any religious nothing or a not, spiritual nothing or a not, I say, don't worry. Don't worry about that. This can be number 12 on your list. That's how that works. You might not ever touch this. Don't worry about it. This might be number 1 on your list. This is my everything. Just saying. This is my everything. And then I actually circle right back around to move my body. All right. So any questions about any of that? Any clarifications? Any like puppies with their ears twisted? We're doing great on time, by the way. I know we moved through those quickly. You might find you want to go back and watch this again if this is new information to you. Those of you who've done Pilgrim, you might find that this is a refresher, a beautiful refresher. Those of you who are considering Pilgrim this year, this might also move you. Dawn, oh my gosh, that's right. Candace did. And can't you just see her, Dawn, saying that? She's like, I'm not drinking the Kool-Aid. Like, I'm not looking all over. Where's the Kool-Aid? Not doing this. Because we've been burned spiritually. So many of us have been burned spiritually. I'm not your guru. Like, I'm not any of that. I'm not claiming to be a spiritual teacher. That's not my intention by any means. I'm just here to say, look, this is what relaxes my heart. This is what helps me live with joy and make an impact in these crazy and upside down times. This is how I stay healthy in my body. This is how I keep my mind healthy. This is how I keep my heart wide open. This is how I receive what's happening in the world and not look the other way. I take it all in and I say, okay, what am I going to do with this? Can't do anything there, but I can do something here. Now, what am I going to do? Right? That's how I do it. So that's what this is about for me. Okay, so you've got them all laid out for you now, right? You got them all just laid out. And so now your work is, in a perfect world, you're going to lay them all out so you can see all of them at the same time, right? So you're just going to lay them all out on your table. So you've got all of them, so you can see absolutely all of them at the same time. And here's where it gets really personal. It's simple. When you look out at these and you say to yourself, you see all 12 of them laid out, or you look at your list, if you did it in a list form, and you say to yourself, what's the one thing I could do today? What's the one category? And maybe there's a thing within that. What's the one thing I could do today that would make the most positive impact in my life and in the lives of others and in the world at large? What's the one thing? Mine's clear. Worship my way home. Like, give it all back to the ultimate giver. Anytime I feel tense, anytime I feel stressed, like, what's yours? What's your number one? Tell me, what's your number one? I just told you mine. Mine's worship my way home. What's yours? What's your number one? Tell us. Write it down. Tell us. While you're doing that, I'm going to pull up the link for the book. So you've got that. Drop it over here in the comments. Tell me, what's your number one? Tell me. Whoops, looks like it popped in there twice. Sorry about that. Great. All right. Number ones. Dawn says my number one is move my body. All right, perfect. That's my number two. So here's what you do. You take these, keep going, keep sharing. You take these and you put them in order. I say the first 4, 5, 6, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 are the most important. Like, I think for me, if I worship my way home, if I move my body, if I rest and reflect, that's my next one. And then purify my vessel. Those are my first 4. If I focus my attention on these 4, there's another move my body. Awesome. If I focus my attention on my top 4, worship my way home, move my body, rest and reflect and purify this vessel. If I focus my attention on those four, the rest are not nearly as important. They'll fall into place. That's what I find. But I know these are my low-hanging fruit. This is the one, worship my way home. Yep, those are my top four also. There it is, right? Perfect. So you choose. You choose what moves you. So for me, I like to go through these. This is an exercise that I do regularly. I do this 2 or 3 times a year. It doesn't take much. These live on my altar, and I just go ahead and, all right, so next one I'm going to say nourish my booty. Always listening to that inner voice, cultivating a deep connection with my intuition, awakening through asana, keeping my asana practice strong and clear is important. Aligning with nature. All right, so I just put these in the order. Might take some time. You might go back and do this with a little bit more time for yourself, right? But you put these essentially into their particular order that moves you, and then you've got them. So that's your step number 1. What are your top 3, top 4? What are the top 3, top 4 that are the most important? Then secondarily to that, what would you like to do? You'd like to take each one of those and say, what's one thing I can do today to worship my way home? What's one thing I can do to move my body? I know what this one is. I know what I'm going to do already. I'm super excited about it. Move my body. What's one thing I can do? I know what I'm going to do with that one. And then I listen up and I go, you know what? I already did my rest and reflect. I was super tired earlier, so I listened to a Vedic talk. And I just laid down, and I laid down for an hour. I never do that. I wasn't really sleeping. I was just very present. But there I was. So there it is, beloveds. That's it. These are the 12 touchstones. This is how we move from distraction to action. There's a million things going on. We focus in on these 12 touchstones. We bring them all in and close to our heart and in and close to our lives. And then I'm just here to say, and many of you know that this is part of Pilgrim, that we have a 108-day journey that essentially spends, we do a week where we embark, where we really prepare ourselves well. That begins on Monday, September 20th. Then we have 6 weeks, and then we have 1 week where we rest and recalibrate. And then we have 6 more weeks where we're focusing on one touchstone every week. And then we have a wrap-up week. And that literally takes us from the middle of September, the 20th of September, all the way across the new year, focusing on these 12 touchstones. There's daily yoga practices. There's daily meditations. There's a refrigerator guide for foods to include and foods not to include. There's weekly calls. There's Q&A. There's a really deep and rich community of over 300 people strong. We walk together every year. And some people have been walking every year for 7 years, because once you register the first time, then you are here to be a part of our community forever and a day. So I'm just inviting you to join us for our time together this year for Pilgrim. So that is what I have for you today. It might move you. The start date this year is on Monday, September 20th. Monday, September 20th. That is the start date this year. And we end on January 6th. We're going right across the new year. The whole reason I designed this program is because I know what it feels like to stay really focused and to live really well throughout the course of my days, and to wake up on the other side of the new year and go, oh, this feels so darn good to me. So I just wanted to give this to you as a little bit of a teaser for the program. You can share this presentation. I hope that you gleaned good information, whether you're returning to Pilgrim with us, or you're considering it, or you just wanted to do the 12 touchstones. It's just right here for you. So I'm sending you so much love. Whatever you do, I hope that you find what moves you and what helps you rise into your next best and highest evolution. So big love to you. Take good care. If you have any questions, please email me, brit@britbsteele.com. I'll drop that in right here. And there it is. All right. So much love to you. Thank you so much for being here and dedicating your time to our time together. I'm grateful to have you be a part of my conscious community. Big love. Okay. Ciao.